I was a huge fan of the original Star Trek. When I was growing up, and the other kids at school were about like chips and emergency, and you know, and they were still in little vestigial cowboys and Indians hanging around. I was so into science fiction, and I actually came to Star Trek because I loved Star Wars. I saw Star Wars in 1977. I was 5 years old, and it blew my mind. And then I saw this thing on television that it was like that's close enough. Watched it every day in syndication, and I don't know if it was even in syndication or if it was on like UHF or something, but I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So when the other kids in elementary school would want to use the jungle gym to play, you know, whatever, that wasn't as cool as Star Trek. I was like, no, this is my spaceship, it's the Enterprise, and I'm Mr. Spock. And if you want to be here, one of you can be Captain Kirk, but I'm Mr. Spock. That's how I wanted to be. So when I was cast in Star Trek, I mean, it was like, if you're a fan of Star Trek, I mean, imagine what it would feel like if you got to go and be on the bridge of the Enterprise. It was like that for me.
That's awesome. So you took on this role, and you received some kind of backlash or criticism when you initially did that. Talk about that experience, because you've written about this, and how did you sort of like get over that?
Well, listen, the reality is for the first couple of seasons, Wesley Crusher was not an especially well-written character. The writers didn't really know what to do with him. They didn't know, nobody knew how to take this idea and make it a person. And I did the very best that I could with that. And it's rare, I don't know what it's like today, but it was rare back then for a person to watch a show and say, you know, I don't like the writing of this character, but I'm sure the actor's a fine fellow. And it would just be like, I hate that character and I hate you. And I mean, I get it. There's shows that my wife and I love, and then we're like, oh, now they're putting a baby in the show. Great. Super. I was in Australia, and I was at a con with Chandler Riggs, who plays Carl on The Walking Dead. And he is one of the nicest kids in the world. And I actually think Carl is a great character on that show. And I know that a lot of people have given him a really hard time about it, right? And it's not his fault.